Hello, hello, hello. I know I haven't been on in a while live, and this is Pastor Jay of Walking Truth Radio Network. If you go over to my Facebook page, James Sutton II, and look at some of my posts, I guess you could say you know where this is going, but you need to hear my voice in this. Our young people of today, between 25 and 35, have to be put in a situation where they have to make better decisions. One of the things I think the generations of the past did, but in error, was again remove the struggle of day-to-day life from their children because they wanted their children to have a better life, and they thought in error now that providing them with every opportunity with no struggle, no earning, no sweat, nothing in, just being your child has now become something that has come to backfire on them. Again, you got 30-year-old males, African American, living at home with no ambition. They have no future, and they don't have any hope. But they don't have any hope because they don't have any ambition. What they've learned is how to be entitled. My last name is whatever it is, and I'm the prince of the family, and they have taken care of me, bought me cars, clothes, all my life, and every time I did something, they would straighten it out. I would never have to straighten it out for myself. And now that I'm 25, 26, 27, 28, and on up to 35, you've been doing it all this time, so why should I change? You've let me live in your house without getting my education. You let me live in your house without having a real job. You let me live under your struggle and the benefits from your hard work without any kind of earning. And now you want me to get out here and get a job? No, that's not how it works. You will work hard taking care of me until I'll take care of you. And then they'll have the nerve to put you in a nursing home. And what you worked hard and struggled for, and the assets you build up, will go to waste because they won't be able to hold on to it because they haven't learned how to do anything. You did provide them with a great education, something to do. You did do that. But in this time and age, that's not enough. And you're thinking, well, where did I go wrong? I gave them more than I had. I afforded them more luxuries than I had. I gave them everything. And there's the problem. Some things the struggle brings that's more valuable than giving them everything. The struggle made us strong. The struggle produced the Martin Luther Kings, the Malcolm X's, the Sojourner Truths, and all of the great ones we look up to. But now these people are in the headlights, or the rearview mirror, of these group of children. And some of them don't even know who Malcolm X or Martin Luther King really is, who they really are, and what they achieved. We're living in the time of the benefits of the struggle, and yet I see that in a lot of ways we're going backwards. We're going backwards. Your grown son is sitting in your basement or in your house and does nothing all day while you are retired and still finding some kind of work to do because that work ethic is in you. And they will continue to say, it's always somebody else's fault why they can't achieve. They spend most of the day high, incoherent, and their conversations are literally unimaginable. You can't understand anything they say. They start off with a and end in their conversation with a There's no enunciation, there's no articulation, there's no thought process, only the stuff that doesn't make sense, and you know it doesn't. So you parents that are done everything that you can and you're keeping your 20-something-year-old to 30-something-year-old child at home, male child at home, you should get hazardous pay. When your weekends are like a Jerry Springer show, where when you see them on the caller ID and when they're away from home, you already know when you get that call at 2 o'clock in the morning or between 10 p.m. and 5 a.m., it's always something. You've got to know the bail bondsman by name. And you always are paying out for them. But you're scared to let them go because you know the real world is going to eat them up. You are protecting society from them, their influences, their friends, their associates, who aren't doing nothing either. It is so bad. I'm going to give you a true story. This one young man that I used to talk to, he used to tell me how much he wanted to be a football player. But as a young man, he never played football. And I asked him, how do you expect to be a football player and you never played a football? He just said, it'll just happen. And I've noticed this young man was 16 when he told me this. And now he's in his late 30s. And you probably already know he's not a football player. But I thought about it then, that his conversation of what he wants is not based in reality of what he's doing at the present time. Where do we have the disconnect? Where is the disconnect? I want to be an astronaut, but I don't go to school. I want to be a nurse, but I don't go to nursing school. It's almost as if that entitlement tells them that was created by the parent, that all they have to do is wish it. And somehow or another, between the parent, the grandparent, and those who love the children, will make it happen for them. And they don't have to do nothing but be in the house, be in the living room, be in the basement, be in their car. And what you do, instead of trying to get them out to do something, what you'll do, you get so tired of them being in your car, you know what you'll do? You'll go buy them a car. And I remember growing up, for those of us who grew up, some of our parents bought us new cars, but a lot of times our parents let us get hoopties. And we were proud to have that hoopty. With this generation, you better not get them a hoopty. You better not get them something that they got to go out and work on with a floorboard. There's a carpet over it and you can see the bottom of the street. They'll have attitude with you. They might even come in your house and destroy some things in your house to get new stuff. That's the generation we are. I know of a situation where a child destroyed a desk in the house to get a new one. And of course the parents yipped and yapped and said what they were not going to do. And guess what? They did it anyway. And once a child knows that they can manipulate the parents like that, it never ceases. And to this day, I'm watching that go on in several different households. As bad as you love your children, by removing the struggle, you've damaged them. You gave them everything, but you didn't teach them how to think critically. So other than the prisons that are built by hands, there's a digital prison where the data is being collected on all these ones who are not thinking, not articulate, and it's being done by social media. It's done by monitoring what they pay attention to. And they're easily manipulated to the point that what we have is a generation of not regular entitlement, but super entitlement, where the government and receiving from them, they believe they deserve it, and has never paid any taxes. They'll quit their job because the government right now says it'll take care of them. But one day the government's going to come and claim them. This is what's really going on out here, and nobody wants to pay attention. Nobody wants to deal with it. Yeah, they're sitting there right now. You are retired or you're at work, and your grown kids are sitting in your house getting high. And you already know when you go home, you don't want to have nothing to do with it. You go in your room, drink your wine, and try to escape the reality of what's going on in your house. And if you did confront them, they might curse you out or even put hands on you because they're entitled. And you had something to do with that. What's the answer? I couldn't even tell you. Something has to give. In that garden to which you planted the seeds and this is what you got, you have to put weed killer on it and force them to make better decisions. Let them live with the consequences of their decisions. And I know you got grandkids that you don't want for them to get hurt. You don't want your grandkids to get hurt. Please share this. I get it. You don't want your grandkids to get hurt because you know they're not good parents. And now you're becoming the parent again. But the only problem is it still forces them not to make decisions. You will never have any peace until, let me tell you, what you leave to them, they will lose. Because they're entitled. There's no struggle left in them. They just sit back every day and just sit there and continue to feed off of you. And some of you are going to be upset by what I say, but you know it's true. Now, don't get it wrong and don't get crazy. I know that there are achievers in this age group. I'm blessed to have such. But when my daughter tells me it goes from the achievers down to the non-achievers with nothing in between, this is her assessment. So many of these young, beautiful, educated, well-preserved African-American women are choosing these guys who can't put two sentences together that are coherent. They just keep doing what they're doing. And they don't have a lot to choose from. And then they wonder why their children, their offspring, are out of control. Why the school is always calling your house, telling you that little Johnny or little Susie is out of control. Well, look where they came from. Look what entitlement has done to them. And then there's the blame game, the seed of the blame game. It's always somebody else's fault why they're in the condition that they're in. They're always somebody else's fault. And all you did was try to give them everything that you could and avoid the struggle. And because you planted that seed, now it's your fault that you didn't discipline them. You know, there's nothing worse than hearing from a young man or a young woman in their late 20s and 30s saying, yeah, they gave me everything, but they didn't give me discipline or structure. You wanted to keep it 100 with them. You let them smoke, drink, and do all that inside your house. You let them see some things that they should not have seen. And now they're doing it 10 times of what you're doing it, but they're doing it inside your house. And every weekend is like a Jerry Springer show. You just never know who's going to come around that corner, and the fight is on. There's no decorum. There's no manners. There's no opening the door for young women, let alone elderly women. There's no yes sir, no ma'am. It's you know how it is. Sounds like the great apes of Africa. They end with a they begin with a and what's in between is worthless. Being a pastor, I'm uniquely situated to listen to a lot of young folk. And it hurts my heart. Because these parents don't know what to do. And these decisions that they make are ending them up worse and worse and worse. And these mothers of these sons are in pain. Because they don't really know what decision their young child is going to make, their young male child or their young female child is going to make that's going to end them up in a situation that they can't help them out of. So my question to a lot of you, and you can put it in the comments later, if you got that going on, are you willing to let them go and cut the cord and let them fall so that God can pick them up and they can make better decisions for themselves? Because I'm telling you, and you know this for a fact, if they do not start making better decisions, it's not going to work. If they don't start making better decisions, it's not going to happen. And they will be your age with nothing. And the digital slavery will have taken hold of them. And they will find themselves in this new world where it won't be the slavery of chains, but you will receive a number and your genetics will be tracked and you will be classified as a person who's not worthy to live in this society. I'll probably be long gone when that takes place. But it's coming. You can see it. You can smell it. It's in the air. They gotta both start making better decisions. They gotta start making better decisions. Please share this because it's important. In a garden, weeds grow by themselves, and I consider those the natural problems of life due to the sin nature of man that we inherited from Adam. You know, man is full of trouble as sparks fly upward. His days are full of trouble. But flowers have to be cultivated. Those seeds have to be fertilized. Those seeds have to be encouraged. And since weeds grow by themselves, when you make a decision that plants more weeds, you're going to have weeds come out of your garden. And it's not the fault of the garden, it's the fault of the gardener. You make the decisions. So if you want to be successful in anything that you try, you're going to make mistakes. But if you want something for your future, you got to start planting the flowers now. Because if you don't, you'll end up with a garden full of weeds. And it's nobody's fault but your own. Your entitlement will not kill the weeds, but your hard work, your commitment, your accountability, your responsibility consistently will let you have benefits, achievements, and rewards. But if you're not willing to be consistent, accountable, responsible consistently, you won't have those things. It's just that simple. And the consistent is the part. Those who are consistent get to keep the flowers. Think about a garden. You still got to look after it after you plant the seed. You got to watch out for weeds. You got to take them out. You got to do the action it takes. You might have to water in the time of drought. You might have to protect from in the time of rain. You have to bring it in when it's cold outside. You have to take care of your garden. Nobody else can do it but you. So you parents, you need to go down into the garden that you made. You need to tell your children, today is the day that you're going to have to struggle. And the struggle is not me taking away your video games or you having to take out the trash, but you're going to have to start making better decisions for yourself and dealing with the consequences of your decision, whether it'll be weeds or flowers. And my job, if you come to me with a decision you made, is to give you advice. but allow you to deal with the weeds of your life. We have to do that for our children. At some point, you've done all you can. You gave them private education. You bought them nice cars. You clothed them real good. You let them have money in their pocket. You let them have credit cards and all of that. But you worked for that. They didn't. They're like the prodigal son, but they're not coming back. They want it now and you gave it to them, but they're not coming back. The young man will find a woman who knows that, and that woman will do the same thing you did until she gets tired, till she gets stuck with the baby, and she's find out that she couldn't make a man. She thought she could, but she couldn't. And now he's sitting there with his 10-year-old playing PlayStation all night long while you're trying to figure out how to pay the bills, while you're still in the struggle. The question is, did you know that was that kind of man when you got him? Yes, you did. But you thought that you can change him. You're loving, you're kind, you're sex. You thought that you could change him. And all it did, he went from entitlement with his mom and dad or his mom, and he's come to you. And because who he is, Prince of Bel-Air, you have to serve him. And this man's supposed to be taking care of you, and you're taking care of him as if he's your child. I mean, I haven't heard of a situation whereas the brother got it going on and he reaches back to get a sister and bring her up too often. Because those brothers who normally have it going on, they won't settle. They'll classify these women that they may want to have sex with, but they don't want them women to have their children and carry their name. Y'all know this goes on. This is real talk. But too many of sisters, too many women are trying to bring along these Neanderthals because they're lonely, because they can't find someone of their intellectual, emotional, and spiritual level. And as a pastor, I see it always fails because all they've done is get a man that's a son and never becomes a man. And if you don't take care of him because he's cute, somebody else will. And they live their life out like that. And they'll grow up to be 50 and 60 years old. They have children, but they've never been a father. And they're still living off the state that wants to enslave them. This is a crisis in our community. This is why there's so much crime in our community, because our families have been dismantled by the system on purpose. And now we're on the verge of complete digital slavery. They know who you are. They know what you do. They track you. They know what you like. The system knows what you like to listen to, and that you're not educating yourself at all. You want to feel good. And the system that's wanting to enslave you is not going to treat you wrong, but it's going to make you feel real good. And one day the system's going to say, we made you feel real good long enough, and we got you. And you're so hooked on feeling good, they'll just keep medicating your 5 senses. And you'll never have anything, and you will be subject to what they want to give you. Think about it. This is Pastor Jay, Walk to Heal Network. I always want you to be encouraged, blessed, and be at peace. I guess this is my rant for today. Peace.
Thank you for tuning in to today's message. We hope that you have been blessed and encouraged. Continue to listen, subscribe, and share on our YouTube page and your favorite podcast platform where we could be reached. Consider donating to this ministry on your favorite platform of choice, Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal. We want to thank you for all of your support and especially your prayers. Stay tuned, be encouraged, and be blessed.